Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Eva, and in today's video, we are going to be trying on all of the hottest new blush releases. I have several shades of the new Ilia Soft Focus Blurring Blushes. I also have the two new summer shades from Rhode from their Pocket Blush collection. I have two of the Victoria Beckham new liquid cheek tints. And then I also picked up the new Bouncy blushes from Makeup Revolution. So if you're interested in seeing me try on all of these blushes, compare them to other products in my collection, and give you my overall thoughts, then go ahead and keep on watching. And if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. If you like cats, I recently got 4 neonatal foster kittens. They are now 5 weeks old, and I post so much kitten content over there. So if you're interested, definitely follow me on Instagram. I will have the username up here, and I will have it down below as well. The majority of the products we are going to be discussing today are going to be first impressions, except for the Ilia blushes. I have been wearing these for a full week now and already have an opinion formed. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about the launch. So Ilia launched these Soft Focus Blurring Blushes for $36. They come in 8 shades. I do think they did a nice job of really evening out and providing a lot of like nude, very pale shades, and then also some deeper shades. I didn't pick up every shade, but I did pick up 5. And then in store, I did swatch some of those deeper ones, and I can tell you, I think that they will look really beautiful on a wide array of complexions. If you apply just a light hand, I was able to make them very wearable and beautiful on my very fair skin. And then I think the pigment is enough that it will look really beautiful on someone with deeper skin tones, but obviously I can only speak to how they wore on me. Reading directly from the Sephora website, a little bit more about these blushes. It says, inspired by a blurring camera filter, this foolproof formula previously found in the limited edition Ethereal Baked Face Palette. Okay, I did not realize this is the same formula in that face palette. We'll come back to that later. This diffuses pores in texture with a blurred dimensional finish. Light filtering powders blend and build seamlessly, while skincare ingredients hydrate, smooth, and firm over time. So this is another blurring blush. We've had so many blurring blushes launching this past year. We had the Tower 28 blurring blushes, we had the Say blurring blushes, and this is yet another one. Let's quickly touch on the packaging. Even though the packaging feels like very light and a little, like a tiny bit cheap, I actually kind of like it. I like that it's this really pretty matte nude pink. There is not a mirror, which does make it feel a little bit cheap in my opinion, because it makes it feel very light. And I do actually think having a mirror in a blush is very useful. So that's a little bit disappointing. But I do overall like the outer packaging. The only thing I'm going to say is I wish that the outer packaging actually matched the product on the inside. I comment on that all the time. I love when brands do that because it makes it so much easier for people who are makeup collectors, or maybe who want to pick up more than one shade, just to differentiate which one it is. However, on the back, the stickers on the back do actually represent the color inside. So not the end of the world. In no particular order, let's talk about the shades I picked up. This is the shade Glimpse, which is described as a mauve rose. I would call it more of a nude. That's an interesting claim that they claim it's a mauve. Now, as far as the formula goes, it is very, very smooth. Now that they say that it's the same formula that was in their Baked Ethereal face palettes, that makes total sense. Swatch, it actually does look more of a mauve rose. Just in the pan, it definitely looked more nude. So this is the shade Glimpse. Next, we have the shade Flutter, which is described as a warm peach. Oh, I love, love, love shades like this. So here is Flutter. This is the shade Sensation, which is described as a berry rose. This was the deepest color I picked up. There are 3, actually like 4 deeper ones, but I picked up just one. So this is Sensation. Breathless is a neutral pink, and this is the one I have been wearing all week long. And then last, but certainly not least, this is the shade Closer, which is a baby pink. So here we have all of them lined up. So here we have all of the shades that I picked up lined up here. They're all very pretty. And something that I like about this formula is they are like lit from within glowy. Like they are a glowy blush, like definitely have some sort of, I don't want to say metallic to scare people off, but like glowy pearl mixed into the formula, but it is so finely mixed in that there is absolutely zero visible shimmer of any type. It just is going to provide you with a really beautiful glow. Wanted to go ahead and just pull up some other similar, in my mind, potentially similar blushes on the market so we can see how they compare. The first one that came to mind is one of my favorite blushes, which is the RMS Redimension blushes. I grabbed a couple of shades from my drawer to compare. This is the shade Bermuda Rose, and I suspect it's going to be glowier than the Ilia, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, so here we have Bermuda Rose. Oh, it's actually very similar. I would say it is a little bit glowier though, but very similar, also very smooth. I love this formula. I also grabbed Crystal Slipper, which is probably my favorite shade from RMS. Oh, and they just came out with an entire Crystal Slipper collection. By the way, if you're a fan of this shade, they launched a bunch of their other amazing products in this shade. Okay, I'm gonna swatch Crystal Slipper here. It's probably not picking up on camera, but the RMS ones are actually way glowier than the Ilia ones. And I don't say that as a negative or a positive. I really love both of these formulas. Spoiler. It is something to note though that the RMS ones are going to be glowier. Another blush I picked up from my drawer because I was curious how it would compare is the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow blush in Magic Hour. I love these blushes. And it just kind of reminded me of it because it was very smooth, finely milled. And I'm going to do this one next to Crystal Slipper. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is the M Cosmetics one. I would say the M Cosmetics ones are much more similar to the Ilia ones than the RMS. So if you like the Magic Hour ones, I do think you are really gonna like these Ilia ones. I accidentally wasn't recording when I applied this, but you didn't miss much. I just went in with a brush and applied it to my face. So this is the shade Closer. I have to say I do find this formula quite blurring. I didn't put any powder on my face, but I do notice that it is really like blurring my pores on my cheek. And it's also, more importantly, not emphasizing any pores or fine lines, which I know is always a concern when it is a somewhat glowy blush. So this one does not do that. I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of the shades to my cheeks and I will roll that footage. This is the shade Sensation. This is the shade Glimpse. This is the shade Flutter. This is the shade Breathless. Overall, I really like this formula. I am very glad that I picked it up. You know what? I did forget one more comparison before we move on. I wanted to swatch the Say Blurring Blushes because I was curious how they would compare, especially from like a glowiness level. So this is the shade Mia, and I'm going to compare it to let's do Sensation. I'm not really comparing it for the actual shades, but more so the formula. Interesting. Okay, so I would say the Say ones are a little bit more sheer and are tad bit glowier. So that is something to keep in mind, that the Ilia ones have more pigment and a little less glow. Now back to what I was saying about this formula. I do really like this formula. I am glad I picked these up. I'd say my favorite shade is either Breathless or the shade Glimpse. I love these sorts of like nudie blushes, and I know I'm going to be getting a lot of wear out of these. I would say if there isn't a shade that speaks to you, you don't need to like run out and get these. I think this formula is great and I'm very glad I picked these up, but these aren't like super revolutionary. There are so many other blurring, glowy blushes on the market. These are definitely solid though, and I give them a thumbs up. I just think if one of the shades here isn't speaking to you, I think you can skip for now. But if you are a nude blush lover like me, you are going to want to pick up Glimpse and Breathless. Now let's talk the new Rhode blushes. I picked up the two new Rhode Summer 2025 pocket blushes in the shade Tan Line and then in the shade Sun Soak. I love these little corn dog blushes. I've raved about them before. This formula is amazing. I also love the shades. I think Rhode really knocked it out of the park with this formula. I believe Rhode is coming to Sephora. Well, I know Rhode's coming to Sephora, but I don't remember if it's 2025 or 2026. But when Rhode comes to Sephora, go try these for yourself if you don't believe me. These are awesome, and these retail for $24. Now, the shade Tan Line is described as a pinky tan. Here is Tan Lines. And Sun Soak is described as a spiced orange. I think this is going to be a very beautiful, ooh, I was gonna say this could be a great fall color as well. It's very beautiful, kind of like pumpkin rusty orange. For application for these, because of this formula, you can either just go directly on your face, dab with the brush, do the back of the hand method, a bunch of different options. I, however, am going to just dip into the product using my BK Beauty 109, which is one of my favorite cream liquid blush brushes. So we went in with the shade Tan Lines. Ooh, this is so pretty. It's a very natural looking flush, and I think they really nailed it out of the park with the name here on this one. So this is the shade Tan Line. Now let's go in with the shade Sun Soak. I'm going to be a little bit more careful. You know, I'm actually going to dab a little of this off on the back of my hand first before applying, because it is a more pigmented, or rather more of a deeper, brighter shade. Oh, this is so pretty too. I'm actually picking up more from the back of my hand and just working it in. So pretty. So this is the shade Sun Soak. I'm going to grab all of the other Rhode pocket blushes. Yes, I own them all because I'm obsessed with them, and see if there are any similar shades, or maybe pull some of the more popular ones so you can see kind of how they compare to Tan Line, because I have a feeling that's the one that people are going to be really intrigued by. Ooh, that AC is just rumbling in the background. I apologize. I went ahead and pulled 4 shades that are kind of within the same family as these 2 new shades. So first, let's go ahead and compare Sun Soak to the other corally shade, Spicy Marg. I mean, these aren't going to be dupes, but I figured it'd be helpful to show you kind of how they compare. So we have Sun Soak here, Spicy Marg here. I mean, not similar at all. Here you have Sun Soak, and here we have Spicy Marg. Spicy Marg is way more of a kind of neon coral shade, whereas Sun Soak is more of that like pumpkin-y kind of rust shade. Now we're going to compare Tan Line to Sleepy Girl, Piggy, and Freckle. Some of these do not look similar to Tan Line at all, but I know some of these are the more popular shades. Like, actually I would say these 3 are probably, maybe they're not, but to me they should be the most popular. So I wanted to compare. So here we have Tan Line, and then we have Freckle, Sleepy Girl, and Piggy. Okay, so here we have, I'm always having to contort my arm, weird, because I never properly place my swatches. So here we have Tan Line, Freckle, Sleepy Girl, and Piggy. Of these, the one that is the most similar is going to be Freckle, but it's more, I would say, of a like peach shade than Tan Line. So if you already own other shades in the Rhode blush lineup, you are safe to purchase these new ones because there are no existing dupes in the lineup, which is good to know, and hopefully that's some helpful information for you. Next up, we have a new drugstore blush from Revolution Beauty. These are their Bouncy Blur Blush Cream to Powder blushes. So these are supposed to be what they sound like, a bouncy blush that is a cream to powder. There have been so many cream to powder blush launches over the past couple months. Big ones that come to mind are the Rare Beauty blushes and then the Sochi blushes that I recently reviewed. Those are like the two that are coming top of mind. I know there have been others, so I just had to order these. I was so curious. They're only $10. I ordered mine at Ulta, but they also have them I believe on the Target website and maybe in some Targets. I picked up the shade Blurry Rose and then Bouncy Berry. Blurry Rose does appear to have a little sheen to it, whereas Bouncy Berry, at least in the pan, I'm not noticing any sort of sheen. It looks more like a complete matte. Okay, now for the Bounce. Ooh, okay. Oh, wow. Ooh, these are squishy. Ooh, and pigmented. Wow. Holy moly. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. First impression, first swatch. I'm getting excited. This is Blurry Rose. Ooh, I already know I'm going to want to pick up more shades. I already know. Okay, now let's go into Bouncy Berry. Ooh. This texture reminds me a lot of the Rare Beauty ones. Oh, whoa. Okay, holy pigment. Holy pigment. Okay, so that was the shade Bouncy Berry, and I was correct based on the pan to translate to the swatches. The berry one is completely matte, whereas the rose one does have some sheen to it, but not glitter. We're just talking glow. We're just talking glow. For application, going in with my BK 109. Okay, I'm gonna be careful because this one's very pigmented. Oh my word, this is gorgeous. Wow, 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 wow. This just gives you such a beautiful wash of color, and the way it just blurred and blended out in no time at all. I'm gonna pick up a little more so I can build it up so you can see the color better. Building up to some clown cheeks. Wow, I really want, they have a really pretty like light pinky peach shade. It says they have 6 colors total, but there are only 4 carried at Ulta right now. Is this gonna be one of my favorite blushes of the year? Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so this is the shade Bouncy Berry. Now going in to Blurry Rose. Oh, so pretty. And here is the shade Blurry Rose. My first impression, if you can't tell, is I am enthused and excited by these. Like, wow, wow, wow. I love these bouncy texture blushes, and the way those blurred my pores and blended out within seconds, I am so impressed. Like, run to Ulta. Run to Ulta. Of the blushes we've talked about so far, the ones that I'm like, okay, these are a must-have, they are these. They are these. Run to Ulta or run to Target. You need these. Last but not least, we have the new Victoria Beckham Beauty Color Wash Blush Water Tints. I wasn't going to get these, but then there was some interest from some of you on my opinion on these, so I went ahead and bit the bullet. Now, these retail for a whopping $46 for just an itty bitty bit of product. They do come in 3 shades. I picked up 2. I picked up Flush and Vintage Rose. Now the packaging is interesting for these because it is a dropper packaging. So the product is going to pick up in the dropper, and then there is a like little metal ball at the end, so that you can, the description says that you can like place the product on your lips more precisely or on your cheeks if you wanted to. Now, as far as the claims go, it says a long wear, watercolor infused flush in 3 energizing shades and delivering a refreshing skin loving formula. This waterlight tint soaks into skin with a diffused bloom of color that looks like it's rising naturally from within. So based on the description, it sounds to me like it's sort of an attempt at a Benefit Benetint, which I surprisingly don't have anymore, but I used to use it all the time in high school and college. Okay, so let's talk about the 2 shades. We'll do swatches. I'll try to do a swatch at least. This is Flushed. Let's see how this like applicator. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the little ball like rolls when you are applying the product. I'm confused about how the product like, oh, okay. Oh, got it. Oh, okay. I actually think that little ball thing does a good job of helping you control where you want the product to go. So here we have Vintage Rose, and then here we have Flushed. Now, I am yet to use these products. I also am yet to hear any reviews of these products. I have been avoiding any spoilers because I wanted to form my own unfiltered opinion. So going in, I did want to mention right away, I like wiped that off while it was still wet, and it did leave behind a stain. So I think the claims that it's long lasting are probably going to be accurate. I want to start with the lighter shade. So let me get some of this product up. God, I'm so terrified I'm going to spill that. We have our little drop here, going in with the BK107. And then let's see how fast we have to work. Ooh, that is very pretty. That is much prettier than a Benetint. That is for sure. Oh, wow. Okay. I hope it's picking up on camera, but it is a very, very natural flushed look. Like the name of Flushed is very accurate. I'm going to pick up a little bit more on the back of my hands. Okay, wow, that applied beautifully. I was kind of scared that this product was going to be difficult to work with and difficult to blend out, because some of those cheek stains, like if you do not work super, super fast, you can get a like dollop on your face. I've been using the e.l.f. face tint lately, or cheek tint, excuse me, and I really love it, but you shouldn't really apply it directly to your face. I've learned that the hard way. I've plopped it on my cheek and then gone with the blush, and you get a little bit of a dot. Because that one does dry down really, really quickly. I still love it, and it's like $5. But this one, I feel like you have a lot more working time with the product to really blend it out to give you that natural look. So this is the shade Flushed. And I did take off my lip product that I was wearing, or products, so that I could apply this to my lips, because one of the recommendations is that you can use the little applicator here and apply it to your lip. Sorry, it was not easy to talk while trying to dispense that. The one thing that I'm finding difficult with the lip application is like, it's a little hard to push down the button while you're rolling. It's kind of like, what is it? Rubbing your stomach and patting your head at the same time. It requires a little bit of focus, but very pretty. So here we have Flushed on the lips. Okay, and last but not least, we are doing Vintage Rose, which is the other shade I picked up. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit, dropping on the back of my hand. Okay, I got like a little aggressive with the dropper on that one. Ooh, okay. Okay, this one I'm gonna need to like work on the back of my hand a bit, because I picked up way too much product from the dropper. I will say I do think the dropper, it's a little bit hard to push down, and so you lose a little bit of precision control when you are pressing it down. Ooh, so pretty. This is such a pretty like berry shade. I know I look like a clown right now because I just put it on without paying attention, but wow, wow, wow. Okay, very, very pretty. So here we have the shade Vintage Rose. I'm not going to remove the lip stain that I already have on my lips, but I am going to pick up some of it on the back of my hands. And just add that to my existing lip tint that I have on. I'm going to try to blend this out just a little bit more because I really slapped that on. Wow, I was not expecting to love that as much as I do. I really wasn't. I was very hesitant to pick it up, not only because of the price point, but I was like, ugh, it's just another tint. But this is very hydrating, and again, as I mentioned, like very blendable and workable. And I think they did a good job with that little like roll ball-y applicator. My one complaint is I don't get why they're $46. Just I don't like the price. And I mentioned that dropper is like a tad bit finicky, but the formula, first impression, I am a fan. I want them to come out with more shades, maybe something that's more of a like dusty rose. I know this is like a summer launch, so they kept with summery colors, but I think it'd be really pretty if they did more of a like a dusty rose, maybe more of like a, I don't know, corally nude shade. That I'm looking forward to. I hope this video was helpful. Again, final thoughts, really liked everything I tried. The one that I'm like, go buy tomorrow, it's that Revolution Beauty Bouncy Blush, but everything was great. I do think this is a unique formula. I'd recommend still picking up one to treat yourself. Ilia ones also really like. I don't think you need to like rush out and buy them though, unless one of the colors is really speaking to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It does really mean a lot to me. I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below letting me know which of these blushes you're interested in. Oh wait, I didn't even mention the Rhode ones. The Rhode ones were great too. I really like those shades. I've gone on and on about that formula before, and it is a good one. I'm all over the place. It is like very late at night when I had the time to film this, so I'm a little sleepy. Thanks for tuning in. Would love if you subscribe, like, and also follow me on Instagram. And if you do decide to purchase any of the items mentioned in today's video, I would love if you consider shopping through my affiliate links down below. It does really help support this very small little baby YouTube channel.